Welcome to our 84th GST session. Hi, I am CA Ashika Agarwal. With me, I have CA Jagdish and CA Hitesh, who will be taking us through the topic of GST Amnesty Scheme and about the section 16.5 and 16.6, which has been introduced retrospectively from the date of introduction of GST. With this, we will also discuss about RCM liabilities, RCM, where the new two things has been introduced. One is metal scrap, and another one is your commercial property, renting of commercial property. And the other changes which has come, other recent changes and clarifications which has come in the month of October. Now, as we know, though the government has come with the scheme for waiver of interest and penalty, with this, we also need to understand who are eligible for the same and what the procedure to be followed. Similarly, for the time-barred ITC, which has been a long point of dispute from the date the GST has been introduced. There has been a long debate whether ITC is a statutory right or is a wastage right. Though we will not be going into such legal issue as of now, we will be discussing more on a practical scenario, what the law deals with and who are eligible and how they can apply for such benefit which is provided under the law. Then we have to also understand that today we are standing on the 7th year of GST from the introduction of the year of GST. Now, as we are standing on the 7th year of GST, there are two provisions which is important and which my teammates are also going to discuss is about section 73 or 74. Now 73, let us for our discussion, keeping it simple, which deals with the case where there is a non-fraud case. Means there are three special circumstances covered: willful misstatement, suppression of fact and fraud. So when these three circumstances are not present, the special circumstances are not present, then it will be 73. And if it is present, then it will be 74. Now, as we are standing on 26th October 2024, and we have received multiple notice, maybe in the nature of scrutiny by way of ASMT 10 or investigation notices by way of INS 1, it has been initiated, or audit notice by way of initiation through ADT 1, thereafter audit observation. So as we are standing on October 24, we have to think that one is 73. Over there, my timelines for 1718, 1819 and 1920 for issuance of show cause notice is over. Now, but when I comes to 74, in 74, still my timelines for all those period has not got over. For 1718, for issuance of show cause notice under 74, that is the special circumstance case, has got over for issuance of show cause notice, but order, it is still time till Feb 25. Now, why I'm saying it is important to understand this timeline, because only this timeline will help you to go ahead with the amnesty scheme and how you have to proceed under this scheme. Plus, similarly is the situation with the 16.5 and 16.6 ITC benefit which has been provided. Because based on what stage we are standing, based on that state, procedure need to be opted and followed. Different forms have been prescribed and one route, one proper mechanism has been provided how it need to be proceed further. With this, I will be handing over to Hitesh and CA Jagdish for taking the session forward, where they will be discussing each by each whatever the recent update has come in this month. Over to you, Hitesh.
Good afternoon, everyone. With regard to today's topic, I will be primarily discussing upon I will primarily be discussing upon the provisions of Section 16 subsection 5 and Section 16 subsection 6 of the CGST Act, which has been inserted retrospectively and which has given the benefit to many small taxpayers who were actually facing the issues for litigation in cases where they had claimed their ITC after the time limit prescribed under the provisions of Section 16 subsection 4. So for that, first let me share my screen. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Hitesh, PPT is not visible.
Okay. Now is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
So, as I discussed earlier, my agenda for today would be regularization of time barred ITC, Section 16, subsection 5, and Section 16, subsection 6. First of all, we should understand 16.4. It is a restrictive provision which was inserted since the inception of the GST law in the provisions of Section 16 of CGST Act. 16.4 specifies the time limit to avail ITC with respect to of an invoice or debit note pertaining to a particular financial year. When GST got incepted, the provisions of this section were that time limit to avail such ITC would be due date of filing the return under Section 39 for the month of September immediately succeeding the financial year to which such invoice or debit note pertains, or date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier. But Finance Act 2022 amended this provision, and with effect from 1st October 2022, this provision got amended to the time limit for availing ITC is earlier of the two dates, 30th November of the year succeeding the year to which such invoice or debit note pertains, or date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier. So as on date, for us, the relevant date becomes 30th November 2024. So practically speaking, for financial year 23-24, as we are standing currently in that financial year, we'll be filing annual returns for that financial year. The October month GSTR 3B, whose due date is 20th November 2024, becomes of utmost importance, because if any ITC pertaining to 23-24 is still left to avail, then we can claim such ITC in the October 24 GSTR 3B return. Now, let us see what are the time limits for the first 4 financial years which has been introduced, which has been given benefit in section 16 subsection 5. Actual time limit for claiming such ITC. For the financial year 17-18, specifically in proviso to section 16 subsection 4, they had extended the time limit till 31st March 2019. For all the 3 subsequent financial years, as you would see, it is the due date of filing return under section 39 for the month of September. This is because the amendment which came in 16 subsection 4 came from 1st October 2022. So I am assuming that annual returns in all such cases must be filed, would have been filed post this date. So I have considered the due date to avail ITC in 16.4 pre-16.5 insertion to be the dates as mentioned in this table. Post 16.5 insertion with retrospective effect, the due dates to avail ITC for the first 4 financial years are 30th November 2021. Now, to understand the scope of legality as on current date, as was discussed by Ashika ma'am as well in the introductory part, we have created this table whereby it shows that for each of the first 4 financial years, what is the due date of filing the annual return, what is the due date of show cause notice issuance under 73, what is the due date of order to be passed under 73 or 74, and what is its relevance as on current date. As evident from the table, in case of section 73, we can see that for the first 3 financial years, be it notice under 73 or be it order under 73, the timeline has already expired. But for financial year 2021, even if the case pertains to section 73, which is non-fraud case, there is still some bracket at the department's end to issue a notice, the timeline for which is 27th November 2024, and the order needs to be passed within 3 months of issuance of notice as per the law. Therefore, the due date of such order becomes 27 February 2025. When we come to section 74, which is the fraud case, which actually provides a time period of 5 years from the due date of annual return to conclude the adjudication proceedings in cases where cases are open under 74. The timeline for 18-19, 19-20 and 20-21 for both notice and order is still open. The window is still open at the department's end. But for 17-18, the timeline to issue notice under section 74 has already expired. So in case you are getting notices under 74 pertaining to financial year 17-18, please consider them to be time barred. However, if the notice of 74 pertaining to year 17-18 has been issued prior to 7th August 2024, but the order is still pending, then in such cases, the window is still open at the department's end to pass order till 7th February 2025. For the purpose of understanding why we brought in this section, these dates, is to make you clear that still 73 and 74 is in the picture. Yes, although a new section 74A has been inserted, but that section will be effective from financial year 24-25 and onwards. So any scrutiny, adjudication, appellate proceedings, whatever any scrutiny or adjudication proceedings which will be taken for the first 7 financial years up to 23-24 will be taken care as per section 73 and 74 only. 74A will not have any role to play. Now coming to the history of section 16 subsection 5. Section 16 subsection 5 was firstly recommended by the GST Council in its 53rd Council meeting held on 22nd June 2024. This was recommended basically because 16.4 being a restrictive provisions was creating a lot many issues. Many high courts actually gave their decisions in favor of the revenue, whereby they held the legal validity, the constitutional validity of the provisions of 16.4, and they also held that this section is not violative of Article 14, Article 19(1)(g), and Article 300A of the Constitution. As per the recommendation, an amendment of Section 16 was proposed via clause number 114 of the Finance Bill 2024, whereby two new subsections, 16 subsection 5 and 16 subsection 6, were proposed to be inserted. After such proposal, Section 16 subsection 5 and Section 16 subsection 6 got notified retrospectively from 1st July 2017 via issuance of notification number 17/2024 dated 27 September 2024, and these sections got notified from 27th September 2024. After the sections got notified, the CBIC came up with a notification whereby it actually prescribed the procedure to avail the benefit as given under these subsections of Section 16 to the taxpayers who were facing issues. Such notification number is notification number 22/2024 dated 8th October 2024. Once this notification came into the picture, a lot many queries were raised by the trade parlance regarding some clarifications which needed to be clarified at the department's end. Therefore, CBIC White Circular number 237/31/2024 dated 15th October clarified the doubts which were prevailing in the minds of the trade parlance. Section 16 subsection 5. What does the legal provision say? If we read the bare text, it says it starts with a non-obstante clause. It states, notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 4, in respect of an invoice or debit note for supply of goods or services or both pertaining to the first 4 financial years, the registered person is entitled to take input tax credit in any return under Section 39, which is filed up to the 30th day of November 2021. So, by virtue of this section, they are giving me the benefit to claim ITC for the first 4 financial years, provided I have satisfied the 2 conditions. First, I have claimed such ITC through filing my GSTR 3B, and my GSTR 3B for all the tax periods from July 17 to March 21 must have been filed on or before 30th November 2021. Now let us understand with the help of this flowchart the scenario. Suppose my ITC, whether my ITC belongs to July 17 to March 21. If no, then the benefit of this section is straight away not available. If it is yes, whether such ITC has been claimed in 3B by filing the same on or before 30th November 21. If it is yes, then benefit is available. However, in cases where you have not claimed such ITC in your GSTR 3B, but you have claimed such ITC in your books of accounts, or you have claimed such ITC in your annual return, GSTR 9, then also you are not eligible for the benefit of 16 subsection 5. You must be very clear that you will be eligible to claim ITC only if you have claimed such ITC through your GSTR through 3B and the same has been filed on or before 30th November 2021. Coming to 16 subsection 6. Section 16 subsection 6 states that where my registration stands cancelled under section 29, but and on account of such cancellation of registration, I could not file my returns timely, and as a result, my ITC gets time barred. Therefore, section 16 subsection 6 gives some relief to taxpayers who faced this scenario. Their registration got cancelled, and on cancellation of due to such cancellation, they could not file their returns. As a result, their ITC became time barred. So section 16 subsection 6 provided that once your cancellation of registration gets revoked, you can still claim ITC provided either you have claimed such ITC within the time limit prescribed under 16(4), or in case the time limit which has been prescribed gets lapsed and you because of such cancellation, you can still avail such ITC provided you have filed all your returns from the date of cancellation till the date of revocation of cancellation from 30 days of the order of such revocation. You have to file all your returns within 30 days from the date of cancellation till the date of revocation to claim such ITC. Now, let us understand with the help of example to gain a better clarity on the scenario which has been quoted in 16 subsection 6. I have considered in this example the ITC pertains to the financial year 22-23. Now, if ITC pertains to the financial year 22-23, then as per the provisions of section 16 subsection 4, the time limit to claim such ITC will be 30th November 2023. In the first scenario, I have considered a case whereby my date of cancellation is 31st July 2022 and my date of revocation of cancellation of registration is 20th July 2023. Now, since my registration got cancelled on 31st July 22, I will not be able to file any monthly or quarterly returns from the period July 22 to June 23. Thereby, if I'm not able to file the returns, I'm not able to claim my ITC. So once my registration gets revoked, I can claim such ITC as per section 16 subsection 6. Now, what is important here is to see the date of revocation. Date of revocation is 20th July 23. So I can still claim my ITC as per 16 subsection 4. Therefore, I have written in the remarks that benefit can be claimed if all the returns are filed before 30th November 23 or date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier. In this case, subclause 1 of 16 subsection 6 will be applicable. But opposite to this, in the second scenario, whereby I have considered an example whereby the date of cancellation of registration revocation order has come on 20th January 2024. Now, this revocation order, when it has been passed in January 24, it is already beyond the time limit prescribed in 16(4) for claiming ITC. In this case, subclause 2 of 16(6) will be applicable, whereby I will be required to file all the returns from July 23 till July 22 till December 23 within 20th February 2024. If I do so, I am eligible for the benefit of 16(6). Now, coming to the procedure which has been notified. The procedure has been notified in notification number 22/2024 dated 8th October 2024. In this scenario, we have considered the case at adjudication level. What should be the scenario in front of you to claim benefit as per this notification? Your order under section 73 or 74 must have been passed, but you must not have preferred any appeal to the appellate authority. Adjudication order, the appeal lies to the appellate authority. In case your adjudication order is passed, but you have not preferred any appeal, then you can apply for rectification. What will be the time limit? The time limit will be 6 months from the date of issuance of this notification. That is 8th April or 7th April 2024-25 can be the time limit for filing an application. Once you file the application, the officer will pass a rectification order in form DRC 08 within a period of 3 months from the date of the said application as far as possible. This as far as possible has been clearly written in the notification issued. It still implies that the proper officer is still not time bound to give us the benefit as per 16 subsection 5. It's still a debatable topic because when the scenario has been made clear, then why they are not restricting the timeline of passing the order by usage of these words as far as possible. Usage of these words as far as possible still gives liberty to the proper officer to not pass the orders within the 3 months of filing the application. Coming to the notification, coming to the procedure which needs to be followed at the appellate level, whereby your order pertaining to any case which covers scenario of restriction of ITC due to 16(4) has been passed under 107 or 108. 107 is appellate order, 108 is revisional order. But you have not preferred any appeal to appellate tribunal. Then also you can file the rectification application and the rectification order shall be passed in form GST APL 04. The time limit for such passing of order is again 3 months from the date of application as far as possible. Now we should look at the do's and don'ts of some do's and don'ts for availing the benefit of these two subsections. Firstly, what are the do's? We need to check that the order against which rectification application is being filed covers disallowance of ITC as per 16(4), which is now claimable as per 16(5) or 16(6). If my order pertains to any other subject matter, we don't need to file a rectification application as prescribed in this procedure. We need to be very sure that we apply for this rectification procedure only if my order covers the scenario of 16 subsection 4. Now, the second do file the rectification application only if appeal has not been preferred to any higher authority. Suppose your adjudication order has been passed, but you have preferred an appeal and your appellate order is pending, or your appellate order has been passed, but you have filed a writ petition, or you cannot file an appeal to GST as it's still not active yet. So in such cases whereby you have preferred an appeal to an higher authority against the order passed by a lower authority, then in such cases you cannot avail the benefit of rectification as provided under 16(5) as provided through this notification. Thirdly, we need to file the application as per the procedure which has been stated in the notification number 22/2024 dated 8th October. What are the don'ts which we need to take care of? don't file the rectification if the order does not pertain to 16.4, disallowance of ITC as per 16.4. Second, we are not to file the application if any order has been passed but appeal has been preferred and such appellate order is pending. And we need not file the application as per the normal provisions of rectification application prescribed under section 161 of the CGST Act. For filing rectification application, we need to follow the special procedure. Now, yeah.
Before you move forward.
Hmm.
Okay, so based on what Hitesh has discussed till now, so he highlighted you the importance of section 16.5 and 16.6. We know that 16.4 has been a point of debate from the introduction, because over here people are challenging the 16.4 that ITC been vested right, it cannot be debarred. Apart from the fact though, like he said that constitutional validity though challenged, but as of now, it has been held to be valid, that there is nothing called contravention which is happening of fundamental right. One part. Now, the second part, 16.4 issue was interpretation. Interpretation in the sense is 16.4 deals with the cases of stale invoice. When I say about the stale invoice, it deals with the invoice which belongs to one financial year and providing the time limit for availment of that invoice in the when is the deadline for availing the ITC. And another is a belated returns, where though the people of, suppose if we take an example of March 24, so suppose March 24 return I have filed in December 24. So though my March return, invoice related to March return shown in March GSTR 3B, but it has been filed in December 24. So it's a belated filing of return. So there was an issue, still there is an issue which has not been still addressed by any High Court or Supreme Court, even it has not been put up. So one is a concept of belated filing. When we say belated filing, then it should not get covered under 16.4. But when we say still invoice, means invoice related to March 24, but it has been claimed in December 24. Now, all this, though I am taking current period, now it is no more, it can be done because now GSTR 3B is linked with 2B. But just for discussion purpose, the law which was prevailing at that time and how the people were operating at that time and filing their return, I am discussing. So we need to understand the difference between stale invoice and belated return. One. Second, with the introduction of the 16.5 and 6, and it is to be noted, this has been introduced retrospective. If you see a provision which has been introduced retrospective, so it's mean from the date of introduction, you are eligible to claim the ITC, even though it's barred by time limit prescribed in 16.4, which is what 16.5 and 6 says. Because we have seen number of cases where due to belated filing of returns, ITC has been disallowed, irrespective of the stale invoices case. And second, registration was also one of the major points where department were here and how now canceling GST registration without understanding the impact and consequences it carry. And huge ITC, though people were fighting, claiming, but legal fight was going on. And it's not only the person whose registration got cancelled, but it's also about the person to whom that unregistered now, whose registration has got cancelled, has provided a goods or service to counterparty. Their ITC also need to be looked upon. Though it has not been addressed over here and still no clarification has been issued. But we have to see, maybe as the government has considered the fact of registration cancel from supplier point of view, they would also may consider from recipient point of view. But as I said, now all is to be auto-populated. So even if my registration got cancelled and now I'm filing my GSTR1 with all the invoices detailed, it will go auto-populated in 2B. But it to be noted in 4D2, there are two cases where automatically ITC become ineligible. One is place of supply and one is 16(4) time bar. So what would be the cases where the restoration process may be due to once the order was rejected, then client went for appeal, after that second appeal, or they went for high court, not second appeal, they went for high court to get the registration. This all will take time, and this may went into 2 years, 3 years. How those ITC at the recipient end will be dealt, that is also one of the things which need to be looked into it. Because though the taxes will be paid by my supplier, but will, as a recipient, will I be eligible for ITC, or will 16(4) will come into picture? Now, one more thing, if you will notice, apart from discussing 16(5) and 6, what the period is covered, he said that it is 4 years which are covered over here. And the second part, he said about the procedure. Now, the procedure which has been prescribed under notification 22/2024, it's relate to the case where orders has been issued and appeal is not filed. So they are discussing about the case where action from the SSC side has not been taken. So it may be a case after issuance of order, you might have paid the taxes, interest and penalty in order to close the case. Or it may be a case as like tribunal has not been formed, so we have not filed the appeal and we are keeping with us. So procedure is specifically and only limited to the cases where no appeal has been filed. But where appeal has been filed, it has been specifically dealt separately and clarification has been provided, which Hitesh is going to discuss. Now, another thing is, when they said about the ITC part, if you will notice, when he was discussing for 4 years, for all the 4 years, they have given the time limit till 30th November 2021. So even though my time limit as per 16(4) may have lapsed, so if I see a stale invoice for which time limit has lapsed, but I am claiming those now, based on this 30th November 2024, I should be allowed the ITC of the same. So even though 17, 18, 18, 19 claim in 2021 may be allow ITC, because the way it is worded, it is overriding 16(4). So that time limit will not apply. Now 38 November will apply. Then when it comes to the procedure part, where it has only talks about order and where no appeal has been filed. So over there, why they have given? Because where a people has not taken action, over there, they have to give a separate application. Now the procedure which they have prescribed is, they are saying, whoever not filed appeal, if you will notice, every time I am saying not file appeal. Now, not filing of appeal, as we know, we have 2 appeal stage. First appeal, which is appellate authority, and second appeal is GST tribunal, which is still not formed. So it is covering the cases of adjudication order and first appeal order. So in adjudication and first appeal order, we have to follow that procedure. And even what the procedure need to be followed is also specified there, that we have to make an application for rectification. That will also happen through, if you will see, if you log into your GST portal, go to user services, view additional notices. If you will see, there is an option called view additional notices. And on seeing view additional notice, you will get the details of notices and orders which has been issued. Now on orders which relate to the case in the hand, then over there we will get an option to do the rectification. And through that link, I have to do rectification. Because under GST law, for rectification purpose, there is already a separate application, separate section, separate procedure, which already has been prescribed under law, which is section 161, which is was he's discussed that don't apply through section 161. Because section 161 deals with rectification of mistake apparent from record. As it deals separately, and to give impact to this retrospective benefit which they have provided, they have given a separate procedure. So where by way of going through view additional notice, Over there, you will click on that order and you will be given one hyperlink where you will give about the case detail and then click on rectification link. With that click of rectification link, you are also required to furnish one reply in Annexure A. They have referred it as Annexure A in the circular. That reply is nothing. That's a detail which is considering about the suppose there is one order which is covering for one period. There can be multiple issues. It may be 6, 7 issues are covered, out of which one issue relates to this 16.4. Now over there, you have to give the detail. First, you have to give the detail of total demand, means total demand which has been made as per the order, irrespective of the fact कि it relate to total, not just to that issue. After that, they have asked you to give the breakup which relate to your issue, means 16.5 or 6. That data we have to give, means basically prepare in that reply and then submit it with this rectification link. And after that, obviously officer is going to verify that the claim which is made by you is correct or not. If they saw that your issue is fully covered and you are eligible for benefit, then definitely they are going to pass a rectified order. Now, when they pass a rectified order, then also it depends upon the stage as with it, means at the stage where it is pending. Now, if it's an adjudication order, then rectification order will be passed in DRC 08. Now, when I am saying rectification, keep in mind that 161 rectification also provide for issuance of rectification order in DRC 08. Here also they are prescribing DRC 08. But if it is a rectification before appeal order, then this appeal order will be passed in GST APL 04. So rectify order will be in APL 04. So that order you will be receiving, and based on that, you can decide whether you want to go for further appeal or you want to pay close, or it was the only issue in the order or notice, and accordingly it will get closed. So that is for the procedure part. Over to you, Hitesh.
Thank you. Coming to the clarification. Now, once the procedure got prescribed by the CBIC, many doubts were raised by the trade parlance pertaining to various scenarios which is being existent as on date. This is because the procedure which was prescribed was only prescribed in cases where adjudication order or the appellate order has been passed, but no further appeal has been preferred at a higher level. So the CBIC came up with a clarification as on 15th October, whereby they clarified the scenarios in a diligent way. They classified the status of the proceedings. Firstly, they said if it is an investigation or scrutiny or intimation issued in DRC 01A. Intimation, if you are receiving any notice pertaining to investigation in INS 01, in scrutiny ASMT 10 or DRC 01A, intimation prior to the show cause notice, then in such case, the taxpayer need not worry. The cognizance of the provisions of 16.5 and 16.6 shall be taken by the proper officer. Now, if they consider the second stage. If your adjudication notice has been issued, show cause notice has been issued, but order is pending, then it is the adjudicating authority, that is the authority which has issued you the show cause notice, such authority will be taking cognizance of the matter. Like if you have received a notice under 73 or 74, then also you need not file any rectification or anything. The matter will be taken care at the department's end only. Thirdly, in case your adjudication order has been passed against you, you have filed an appeal, but your appellate order is pending. In such cases, the cognizance shall be taken by the appellate authority. Fourthly, they come to a scenario whereby the appellate authority actually passed the order in your favor, but the department went in for an appeal, revision of such order. Revisional order is pending at the department's end. In such cases, cognizance of the matter will be taken by the revisional authority. And in the last scenario, they clarified that in case adjudication order or appellate order has been passed but no appeal has been preferred, then you need to follow the procedure as prescribed in notification number 22/2024, which means action at the taxpayer's end will be needed to be taken only in one case, which is appellate order or adjudication order passed but no appeal preferred to higher authority. In all other cases, be it intimation, scrutiny, or investigation, be it adjudication notice issued but order not passed, be it appellate order not passed, be it revisional order not passed, cognizance shall be taken at the department's end by different authorities stage per se. To give you a good view of the annexure which Ashika was talking about, I will be sharing my screen once again to give you to explain you in a better way the impact of the way you need to present your rectification application along with such annexure. This is the annexure which has been notified under notification number 22/2024. Here you need to give your basic details, GSTN legal name, trade name. You need to quote the order in which rectification application has been filed, the ORN, the order reference number along with the order date. Then you need to give the details of the demand confirmed in the said order. Year wise, you need to give the details of the demand confirmed in the said order. For the first 4 years, if you fill the tax, total tax, interest, penalty, you need to fill the tax headwise. Interest can be clubbed together, penalty can be clubbed together, and you need to fill the details in table 2. Out of the details filled in table 2, you need to mention in table 3A that out of the figures given in table 2, which are the figures which you are allowed to you are eligible to claim ITC as per 16.5 in table 3A. And if in case you are eligible for ITC under 16.6, you need to fill table 3B. So you need to be careful in filling either table 3A or 3B depending upon the nature of your case. If your case falls under 16.5, you need to fill table 3A of the annexure. If your case falls under 16.6, you need to fill table 3B of the annexure. And finally, you need to give a declaration that no appeal under section 107 or 112 of the said act is pending against the order against which this rectification is being filed. 107 is the first appellate appeal, 112 is the appeal to appellate tribunal. In this way, you need to fill and you need to verify this through either your digital signature or through your Aadhaar OTP, GST OTP, I mean to say.
So if you will notice, basically, they have provided the benefit of 16.5 and C at whatever level or at whatever stage it is pending. It may be before issuance of show cause notice. It may be after issuance of notice, before order. It can be at adjudication order or appeal order. Whichever stage it is pending, at all stage this benefit is allowed, provided the same is covered from 17 till 2021 and you have claimed the ITC in GSTR through GSTR 3B before 30th November 2021. First. Now the second thing is they have divided the benefit which is available under this section in two parts. What are the two parts? One is by way of rectification, and second by way of whoever is the officer at which level the stage is pending, that officer is responsible to make sure you get that benefit. So if it is not pending at any level, when it will happen? When we have not, as an SSE has not taken any action once the process has been completed from department, that is the adjudication order and appeal. And the second part where they are saying where it is pending. It may be, if we divide, it can be divided like pre-adjudication, means before the adjudication started, then the adjudication process, and then the appeal process. At all this level, they have allowed the benefit, and the officer who is responsible and who is doing those process and means who is in charge, like for show cause notice, there will be one proper officer. Appeal, we have JC appeals. Then appellate tribunal, when it will be formed, it's not covered over here. Then cover your revisional authority. So where commissioner has been authorized to do the revision, that is what he has discussed under 108. Even revisional authority, section 108 has also been covered. So whoever is the officer responsible or looking after the case is required to give you this benefit. Means responsibility is on the department, not on the SSE where the cases are going on. But where the cases has ended, it is upon the SSE to take the initiative. If we summarize what the procedure and clarification has been provided. Now the second part is where we will be having doubts. What about the case where we have paid the taxes, we paid the interest, we paid the penalty. We have made the payment. If payment is made, circular is pretty clear, there will be no refund. But over here also, you have to check how you have made the payment. Have you made it through DRC03 or through electronic liability ledger? If you have made through electronic liability ledger, then nothing can be done. But if you have done through DRC03, over there you have to check how you have reported, or did you mention anything as a reason, or did you upload any document? So you can check how you have filed, and accordingly you can plan that even though taxes has been paid, that DRC03 how you can utilize. So if anything you want to add, Hitesh?
Yeah, with regard to 16.5 and 16.6, in case you have paid the taxes in full, there is no benefit of any refund, because or either you paid your taxes in full or you reverse the ITC on the direction of the proper officer in your monthly returns or through DRC, or be it you paid through cash ledger or credit ledger, whatever course of action you have adopted for payment of taxes in under the contravention of 16.4, you are not eligible to refund in any circumstance. So with this, I would be closing my discussion on 16.5 and 16.6. Jagdish will be taking ahead the discussion on the amnesty scheme, which has been provided under section 128A, that is waiver of interest and penalty with respect to certain demands.
Last thing in this regard is, if you will notice, he talks about 73 or 74 both cases, because it's to be noted the 16.5 and 6 benefit is not just bound to 73, it is applicable in both the section. So whether it's a 73 case or 74 case, in both the situation you would be eligible for 16.5 and 6. So if any case is going on or where any order has been passed, look into the same to check whether you are eligible for the same or not. Over to you, Jagdish.
Yeah, thank you. Just a second, and let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes. So the most awaited scheme, which was proposed in the Finance Bill 2 of 2024, is a GST Amnesty scheme. So what is this GST Amnesty scheme? It is giving the one-time benefit to the taxpayer from interest and penalty. Just a second. Okay. So it is giving one-time relief to the taxpayer with respect to a waiver of interest and penalty for the certain tax periods. So what's the purpose of introducing this scheme after 7 years of introduction of GST? If you go back to those days of implementation of GST, so many taxpayers have not filed returns on time and not paid tax on time because of various reasons, lack of knowledge and some technical problems. Not only there is a fault from the taxpayers, there is a fault from the department side also, because that time the portal is not ready to comply with the GST Act as designed, as proposed in the GST Act. So because of these various reasons, many taxpayers have not complied, not paid taxes on time. So after 7 years, now from the last 2 years, department has started issuing notices for all the past issues which were in the initial period of implementation of GST. So many taxpayers are facing problems with these demands, interest, and penalties. So, GST Council, after GST Council has received many um, received these issues from the taxpayers, and they have proposed this scheme. So, recognizing these hardships facing by the taxpayers, in the Finance Bill 2, they have proposed this new amnesty scheme. So what's this amnesty scheme? So under this amnesty scheme, there will be a waiver of interest and penalty for the initial period of implementation of GST. That is, for the first 3 years, they have given the benefit of relaxation. That is, for the 17-18, 18-19, and 19-20, there will be a conditional waiver of interest and penalty. So there is a not blanket straight away. They will not give the waiver of some waiver of interest and penalty. There will be some condition that we should meet. Then only they will give the waiver. So we'll see what are all the conditions and what are all the conditions we need to satisfy in order to get benefit under this scheme. So unlike the 16, as Ashka ma'am and Hitesh said, unlike the 16.5, 16.6, it will be in that case, it will be applicable in both the fraud cases and the non-fraud cases. That is both the 73 cases and 74 cases. But in order to avail the benefit under section 128A, that notice should be under 73. As Ashka ma'am at the time of introduction, she said that 73 deals under GST, there will be two scenarios, 73 and 74. 73 deals with the non-fraud cases, whereas 74 deals with the fraudulent cases. So in order to get benefit under this scheme, the notice or the adjudication proceeding should be done under section 73. So what is the preliminary condition in order to avail this benefit is we need to pay the full tax amount. Under this scheme, there will be benefit of only the interest and the penalty, not the tax. Provided you need to pay the whole amount of the tax, what is there on the notice or the demand order should be discharged on or before 31 March 2025. So by the end of this financial year, if you made the payment of tax fully, then you will get a relaxation from the payment of this interest and the penalty. So we'll see what are all the cases it will be covered under this scheme. So for the first three, already discussed that it will be applicable only for the first three financial year. That is for the 17-18, 18-19, and 19-20. So what are all the categories we'll see now. The notice has issued under section 73. That is DRC 01 has issued, but adjudication proceedings are still going on. In that case also, you can opt for this scheme. And adjudication order issued, that is DRC 07 has been issued under section 73, that is under non-fraud cases, but first appeal has not issued, that the appeal order has not been issued at, that is appeal 04 has not been issued at, and first appeal order is issued, but the order from tribunal has not been issued. Since the tribunal has not been constituted, this will not happen. And the entire tax amount has all to be paid on or before 31st March 2025. So here another case is there. So this scheme is applicable only for the 73 cases, right? But if the notice is issued under section 74 or order is passed under section 74, that is under fraud cases. So later, if that order, 74 order got converted into the 73 in the appeal stage or at adjudication stage, if it got converted from 74, 73, and then in that case, you can avail this benefit under this scheme. So now we'll see how to make a payment of tax. Either you can use your credit ledger, credit balance in your ECL electronic credit ledger, or you can pay the amount of tax in the cash also, provided subject to availability and allowability under section 49, that is payment of tax, interest and penalty. And interest and penalty would be standard. If you satisfy all these conditions, then your interest and penalty for those 3 periods will get waived. So if say if you have paid entire tax along with interest and penalty, in that case you will not claim, you cannot claim any refund as is basis. And like section 5, section 6 only, here also the same condition. If you see the recent notifications, all notifications are coming with no refund. If you have pay all taxes, you will not get any refund. If you have not paid, then only you can claim the benefit. Like this, we are seeing the recent notification, and this would be only for the demand cases, not for erroneous refund. So other than erroneous refund only, this scheme will get covered. If you having this will discuss in detail in the later slides. If any appeal or writ petition before a High Court or the Supreme Court is pending before at any level, in order to opt under this scheme, first we have to withdraw, and then only you can apply under this scheme. And once the proceeding stands concluded upon payment, that is, you have made the full payment, that is tax, interest and penalty you have already made. So then such proceeding shall deem it to be concluded. In that case also, you cannot opt under this scheme. So no appeal can be made against this relevant adjudication or the appeal order. So amount payable under section 16(4), but not. So what the Hitesh has just now discussed, that if in your notice there are 5 issues, out of that 1 issue pertains to this section 16(4), that is contravention of 16(4). That is, you have not availed the credit within the time limit prescribed under section 16(4). That time you are not allowed to claim, but now it is allowable due to retrospective insertion of section 16(5) and 16 subsection 6. So in that case also, you can whatever the as we already discussed in the previous letter, we need to pay the entire tax amount. So out of the 5 issues, I need to, let's say I have to pay 10 lakh. Out of the 10 lakh, 1 lakh pertains to the section 64 contravention. So if I pay 9 lakh, it would be sufficient in order to be eligible to fit under this scheme. So now we'll see the practical situations and the coverage of the scheme. So if I have already paid the tax before issuing of DRC 01, that is before issuing of the show cause notice, and the DRC 01 had issued only for the interest and penalty. So I have already made the payment of the tax before issuing the show cause notice by the department. And in this case, department has issued show cause notice only for the interest and penalty. In that case, yes, I can go for under this scheme. And tax, interest and penalty, I have not paid the tax, interest and penalty at all, and the department has issued SCN to pay the whole thing. In that case also, I can go opt for this scheme. And tax paid during adjudication. So DRC 01 has issued and adjudication proceedings are going on, and the order was also passed. So during the adjudication proceedings, I have made the tax part, but I have not paid the interest and penalty. In this case also, I can opt for this scheme. And DRC 07, that is the order or appeal order has passed, but the time limit for filing appeal has lapsed, or I have not filed, I have not gone to the appeal. In that case also, I can go provided if the time limit to file the appeal is not at elapsed. In that case, you have to opt for this scheme. First, you have to withdraw your appeal application, then only you can opt for this scheme. And notice or order for demand under, if any notice or order issued under section 74, that is under fraud cases. In that case, you cannot opt for this scheme. This is applicable only for the section 73 cases, right? So in case of erroneous refund, if the entire order, your demand order is pertaining only to the erroneous refund, in that case also you cannot opt. Only for the other than erroneous refund, and that the issue should cover under section 73, then only you can go opt for this scheme. Notice or order for both erroneous refund and demand. Let's say you are having 4 issues in the order. Out of that 4, you are having 1 issue related to this erroneous refund, and remaining 3 issues related to your other than erroneous refund. In that case, yes, you can opt for the scheme, provided you have to make the whole tax payment. Whole tax payment you have to pay on or before 31st March 2025, and if the proper officer finds that you are eligible for this waiver of interest and penalty, then after passing GST SPL, that is the amnesty order, you have to make the tax amount of the GST refund also. That erroneous refund also you need to pay within the 3 months from the amnesty order. That is the GST SPL 05. That form I will discuss in the later slide. So notice or order demand for 2021 or later. So this scheme is applicable for the first 3 years, right? 17, 18, 18, and 19, 20. If you got any order or notice for the 2021, that is for the which is not covered under section 128 yet. In that case, you cannot opt. You can opt for the first 3 years only. And notice or order for demand, if your order is having 17, 18 to 19, 20, and also next periods also it's that order covered. In that case, yes, you can opt for the scheme, provided you have to make the full payment of tax for the first 3 years. And if the officer finds that you are eligible to opt for this, eligible to claim under this scheme, then after receiving the favorable amnesty order, you have to make the payment for the subsequent years also. That 2021, from 2021 onwards to subsequent, whatever the for whatever periods you have received the notice, that tax also you need to pay within the 3 months from the amnesty order. Let's say I have received notice or order for the 5 years, that is for the 17, 18 to 21. So for the first 3 years, I have made the full payment of the tax, and I have applied for this scheme, and proper officer has given the favorable order. That he has adjusted my electronic liability ledger and passed the favorable order. In that case, for the other 2 years also, I need to make the payment of the tax within 3 months from the date of that amnesty order. The same with the erroneous refund also. The erroneous refund I need to pay within the 3 months from the amnesty order. So adjustment of interest or penalty already paid against outstanding demand. So if I already paid any interest or penalty through DRC 03, so which is not acknowledged by the officer, my jurisdictional officer, can I adjust that against my outstanding demand now? The answer is no. No, you cannot adjust like that. Only interest demand for if you receive any notice or demand order for delayed filing of the returns or late reporting of the invoices. Let's say March 24 invoice, you are reporting in the month of October now. So in that case, you need to pay the interest from the March to till the date of your payment, right? So in that case also, you cannot opt under this scheme in case of delayed filing of the returns, in case of late reporting of invoices, because here there is no tax. You have already paid the tax, but the department is asking to pay you only the interest. So in that case, you cannot, you will not cover under this scheme. You cannot opt for this scheme. In a partial waiver on certain cases, let's say in your order, there are 10 issues. You are agreed with the 6 issues and remaining 4 issues, you want to litigate it. In that case, you are paying the tax amount only on the 6 issues and retaining other 4 issues. In that case, no, you cannot opt for this scheme. If you want to go for this scheme, you need to pay the tax on the entire 10 issues, not only on the 6 issues. Okay. And department appeal file and the demand amount enhanced after amnesty order. Amnesty order has passed in favor of you, and later the department has filed an appeal against that order and enhanced the liability. In that case, yes, that order also will cover under this, but subject to that you have to pay the tax that enhance whatever the tax enhanced by the department in the appeal order. In that case also it will be covered. Notices under section 74, but the order of so it's a reclassified. Actually, the first notice of the order is passed under section 74, that is fraudulent cases. Later, it got reclassified to section 73, the redetermination order that we call. So in that case also, you can opt for the scheme. For this, you need to pay the tax within 6 months of the redetermination of order. Let's say, in order to opt for this scheme, I need to pay the tax on or before 31 March 2025, right? That is the end of this financial year, right? So let's say my redetermination order passed on 30th April 2025. So in that case, in order to fit under this scheme, I need to pay the tax amount on that 73 order, redetermination order within the 6 months. That is by 30th November 2025, I need to pay the full tax amount. Then I can opt for this scheme. Demand under section 64, but allowable as per section 16.5 or 16.6. So this we have already covered. If your demand notice cover one of this issue, then you no need to pay a tax on this, because section 5 and section 6 are inserted with the retrospective effect. So in this case, you no need to pay tax at all. That time you are not allowed to take the ITC, but now it is allowable. So you no need to pay the tax at all. That's the reason. If out of 5 issues, section 4 is 1 issue, then you need to pay the tax on that only 4 issues, excluding this section 4 issue. And demand involving tran credit. So if you have ever tran credit in those periods, then also it will it will fit under this scheme. And import IGST. So if you see the import IGST, it will be governed by the Customs Act, not under the GST Act. So if there is any dispute with respect to the import IGST, so in that case, you cannot opt for this scheme. And penalty under section 73, section 122, 125, that is the general penalty, and the penalty in case of specific cases. On all these cases, yes, you can opt for this scheme. All these are related to non-fraudulent, whereas late fee for not filing of returns, and penalty under section 29, that is e-bill related penalties. And all these cases, you cannot opt for this scheme. Only in case of general penalties and non-fraudulent cases only you can opt for this scheme. So these are all the situations. Now we'll see the procedure, how to opt for this scheme.
1 minute, Jagdish, before you move
Yes.
to procedure,
Yes.
let us understand whatever scenario he has explained with an example. So over here, I have prepared multiple scenario. Let us take scenario 1, which we have, I have keeping in mind to be a simple one. In the sense, we'll go one by one with what the exception and where he said benefit will not be available and where the benefit will be available and how the tax payable under scheme will be determined. So taking first scenario. Now suppose there are total 8, in this it's not 8, it's total 6 issues has been provided. Now, the first part, if you will notice, Jagdish said that for all the issue, you have to opt under the scheme. You don't have multiple choice option that for one issue you will go, for others, because you know that you are strong on merit, you will not go. That option is not available. If you are going for 1 year, you have to, not 1 year. If it is based on notices. Notices may be for one tax period, that is for 1 month or quarter, and it can be also for full financial year, and it can also for the multiple years. So based on notice or order for whichever period it has been issued, you have to go for that notice or order full issue. You don't have multiple choice option. You have to go for all the issue covered in that notice or order, irrespective of the fact which is your strong or the weak point where you will be liable to pay tax. So if you are going, you have to go for all the issue and pay the tax accordingly. Now, taking the first scenario over here, suppose issue 1 is R1 versus 3B, where they demanded the 68K. One relate to tax not paid on sale of fixed asset. Another relate to ineligible ITC. Then one is 16.4. ITC proposed to be disallowed on based of 16.4. And then we have late fee issue, 10K. So we were having this total 5 issue in this, suppose scenario 1. So if you will notice over here, as I said, you have to go for all the issue. Now, Jagdish pointed out that if my notice or my order include in relation to issue of 16.4, for which benefit is available by way of 16.5 and 6, which is discussed by Hitesh. If I'm eligible for this benefit, then while calculating my tax payable, this 45 will not form part of it. So while calculating my tax payable, this 45 will not form part of it. Procedure, he will take you how you will get that benefit, but I am as of now limiting myself about the tax payable. So my total demand, assume, is 246, not 246, 256. Out of which I will be liable, tax payable will be 201. Because 256 minus, suppose I was eligible, officer extended me the benefit, 45K will get covered over here. I have removed late fee also, because at the end, what he was discussing, he said, the waiver which is given is of interest and penalty. So when they said penalty, they have excluded late fee because they are not treating late fee equivalent to penalty. So late fee, you are liable to pay. You will not get any benefit of late fee. So late fee would also be payable separately. But when you are doing an application, the tax payable is 201, which will be excluding late fee, and ITC, which is 16.4 benefit available. This is scenario 1. Now taking another scenario, which is a case of your erroneous refund. Now taking a case where with 16.4 case, I have a case of refund also. Now he pointed out the fact that in case of erroneous refund, the benefit will not be available. In case of erroneous refund, benefit will not be available. My total demand will be total of what the issues are covered, even including erroneous refund and even including 16.4. But when I will be determining my tax payable, then it will be 346 and minus only 45, 16.4 benefit. Total on 301, I will be liable to pay tax. So, but when we come to interest and penalty, I will be liable to pay it on this refund amount. So I won't be eligible for waiver of interest and penalty on this refund amount. So on this amount, I have to pay interest and penalty on the 1 lakh rupees, which relates to erroneous refund. Others, I will get waiver and I won't be liable to pay any interest and penalty. Third scenario, which relates to only interest. If you notice, when he was discussing the scenario in serial number 1, he discussed about the fact of that even where the tax has been paid, but only interest and penalty has not been paid, you would be eligible for this scheme. But this comes with one condition, which he highlighted over here, that in serial number 14. I hope my screen is visible. If there is any issue, let me know. Okay. In serial number 1, he said for interest and penalty also, you are eligible for this scheme. But if you will see in serial number 14, he is pointing out one exception. Coverage is not there if demand is made for interest and penalty on account of late filing of return or late reporting of invoices. Basically, over here, he is talking about section 7512, which deals with self-assessed tax liability, which is basically a difference between R1 versus 3B. So if R1 versus 3B difference is there and due to which demand has been made and you have paid, so there can be a case where there may be a delay reporting of invoice. There may be a case interest you not have paid due to delay filing of return. If those circumstances are there, then under the scheme, you are not eligible for the benefit. This covers the case other than interest on account of 7512. If it is a 7512, an issue in the notice or order is only for that. Okay, the only issue is there. So now coming to this, if the only issue is interest on belated filing and delay payment of tax, then you are not eligible. You have to pay the applicable interest and applicable penalty demanded as per the notice or order. With this, now we will move to fourth scenario. Now this fourth scenario basically relates to period. Over here, I have covered for the purpose of one. Now let us go to fourth scenario. Let me change these scenarios to year. Now, if you notice in the starting of the amnesty scheme, he pointed out it covers only this 3 period and it is covered only when it is under section 73. Now, there may be a case where notice or order has been issued even covering the period which is outside the scheme. Notice may have multiple issue, may have one issue that we have discussed. So notice or order can be issued even covering multiple year and which may be outside scheme, like in our case 2021. How the same will be dealt, that also he discussed, is that for this period from 1718 to 1920, SSE is eligible for ITC. So again, tax payable will be determined. Now over here, while determining the tax payable, you have to keep in mind, now the one issue is 16.4. So for 16.4, I am assuming I am eligible for the benefit, means I am assuming that department is giving me the benefit. So I am excluding the tax payable on that account. Then this interest on belated filing and interest on due, because it is in nature of interest, that's why I excluded from tax payable. Okay. These 3 components I have excluded in order to arrive my tax payable in case of multiple years. I hope I am clear. Now you can ask me why in 2021 16.4 benefit you have given. If you will notice, when Hitesh was discussing, he was saying that it covers 4 years. Section 16.5 and 6. But when I come to amnesty scheme, it is covering 3 years. But even in 2021, I'm eligible for this benefit. That's why I excluded 135 and not 90K. So after excluding 16.4 and interest, because interest will not be payable in this scenario because it is not the only issue. But we have to see how that will work. Because when we read the clarification which has been issued, are they debarring only where there is a only interest and penalty, or they are debarring the issue itself is a question mark? As of now, the clarification which has been provided, it seems they are debarring the notice where only issue is this. They are not saying anything where multiple issue is covered and where one of the issue is this. So that we have to check. Maybe further clarification they will come up with. So over here, I hope you got the clarity how tax has been demanded. Because why I am saying you have to determine this tax amount. When he will be taking you further, he will be saying the first thing you have to do before applying under this scheme is to pay the tax. This is what he is going the first step. So it's very important we understand the tax payable in order to be eligible for this scheme. We cover the scenario of NS refund where you have to pay with interest and penalty. Waiver will not be there. ITC 16.4, you will be eligible for the benefit under 16.5 and 6. Late fee need to be paid. There is no waiver, but it doesn't form part of tax. So after application also you can pay, because officer will be issuing the notice saying you to pay the amount. Because the condition is to pay the tax before making an application. So with this, Jagdish, you can take forward.
Yeah, okay. So is my screen visible?
Yes,
Jagdish, yeah.
So now we'll see the procedure. How to opt for this scheme, we'll see now. So if you made the full payment of tax before notified date, that is before 31st March 2025 only, you have made the entire payment of the tax. So you have made the payment to one of the condition is that you have to make the payment against the order reference number, that it should set off with your electronic liability ledger. Okay. If you have already made the payment under the through DRC 03 by selecting a voluntary basis. In that case, if you have made any payment through DRC 03 without tagging your liability, in that case, your liability ledger will not be debited. It will be still showing your actual liability. So in that case, what you need to do is you have to file your DRC 03A, tagging this order reference number, so that your electronic liability ledger will get reduced. The tax amount will get reduced. Then you can go under this scheme. And as we already discussed, if your order got converted from 74 to 73, then you need to pay the payment of tax within 6 months from such date of redetermination order. So this is the payment. So once you have made the payment, then the process will start. So there are various forms not at live. All these forms what they have proposed to opt for this scheme. But we'll see what are all the forms we need to file in order to avail the benefit under this scheme. First one, GST SPL one. When we will file this form, if any notice has issued but order has not been confirmed. So in that case, we need to file this GST SPL one within 3 months from 31st March 2025. What GST SPL 2. So that is before issuing an order. During the adjudication proceeding, we need to file SPL 01. After adjudication proceeding, if any order is passed, in that case, we need to file SPL 02. So this form we need to file within the 3 months. And similarly for the redetermination order, we need to file within the 6 months. So in order to file this, if any appeal is pending before appellate authority or next level like any writ petition is pending before any high court of the Supreme Court, we need to withdraw it. Then only you can opt for this scheme. So in you need all you also need to enclose the evidence that you have withdrawn your appeal. Then only you can the proper officer will accept your application. So you have filed your application in SPL 01 or 02, whatever it may be. Now come to after verification. If your proper officer finds that you are not eligible for this scheme, he will issue a show cause notice why your application should not be rejected. Like he will give one notice. So that notice he have to issue within 3 months of receipt of SPL 01 or 2. And also principle of natural justice should be followed by him, that he should give given opportunity of personal hearing. So now moving on to the slide.
Jagdish, it is the presenter view.
Sorry. So you have filed your application and the department, let's say department has issued a show cause notice, then what we need to do? So in to give a reply to that notice, you have to submit your reply in SPL 04 within 1 month of receiving the show cause notice. And after receiving the reply from us by your proper officer, he will give you an order in SPL 05. If it's a favorable order, it will be called as he will issue it in SPL 05, or else if it's an adverse order to the applicant, then he will issue an order in SPL 05. So we'll see the time limits within which the proper officer need to pass give an order. In case of SPL 05, 0 or 07, the time limits would be the same. If we have not issued any notice, show cause notice, that is in SPL 03, you need to pass the order within the 3 months from the date of receipt of SPL 01 or the 2. In case if he issued any SPL 03, that is show cause notice, in that case, within 3 months from the date of receipt of that notice, he need to pass the order. If he had not received reply, he had issued SPL 03, but he had not received any reply from the applicant. In that case, he need to pass the order within the 4 months from SPL 03. So this is all about the time limit. If the order is not issued within this time limit, either SPL 05 or 07 is not issued either within the 3 months or the 4 months from the specific time, then it's deemed to be acceptance of the application. So automatically your interest and penalty will get waived even if they accepted within these time limits. And now coming to the next one, if amnesty appeal against SPL 07, that is against the order, that is GST.
I think due to technical issue, we have lost Jagdish. He will be joining back. Just 1 minute. So if we see the procedure which has been mentioned for this is, first is start with SPL 01. Now, application for waiver of interest or penalty under this scheme, in that case, two forms have been prescribed. One is SPL 01 and another one is SPL 02. Now, this form has been prescribed based on the stage at which it is pending. It may be noted, unlike 16(5)(c) 6 or 5, where even the pre-issuance of notice is also eligible for this benefit. In this case, benefit is available from the issuance of show cause notice. So once the notice has been issued, and if that is pending at a notice level, then we need to apply in SPL 01. But when it is pending at a order level, which can be adjudication order, appeal order, or revisional order, if it is after the stage of notice, then you have to file an application in SPL 02. Now, before filing this application, as we discussed, first thing you have to make sure you make the full payment of tax payable as per the notice or as per the order. Only after making the payment, you can make an application in SPL 01 or 02. And the form will depend upon the stage it is. For notice stage, it is SPL 01. For order stage, it is SPL 02. And application need to be done within 3 months from 31st March 2025. Because 31st March 2025 has been given as a cutoff date to make payment of taxes. So they are saying before March 25, you have to make sure you pay the tax payable for which you are going to go for the scheme. And after that, they have given us a 3 months time limit to file the application. Now with this, if you will notice, he was discussing one more point. Let me know whenever Jagdish joins so he can take it over.
Yeah, hi. I
Okay.
will continue.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. If there is any order passed against the non-favorable order has been passed. In that case, what the applicant can do, he can go for an appeal. He can file an appeal in the form APL 01 as like a regular course within the 3 months. That is condonation. As per 107, there is a time limit. Within 3 months, you can go for an appeal. If you see the SPL 06, amnesty appeal filed and the order passed in favor of the taxpayer accepting eligibility of amnesty. So in case if it is favorable in the appellate commissioner has given favorable order, then he has to give it in SPL 06 and your electronic liability ledger should be adjusted by using this form SPL 06. Coming to the next SPL 08. If amnesty appeal passed against the taxpayer, if you have filed the appeal against SPL 07 and at the appellate level, you got an adverse order. In that case, then to opt for this scheme, you have withdrawn your original appeal, right? If you want your original appeal to get restored, you have to request your proper officer by filing in form SPL 08. That is that within the 3 months from the date of amnesty appeal order in APL 04. Okay. So automatically by filing this, your original appeal, what you have withdrawn for opting this scheme will get restored. So if department appeal order passed requiring the payment of additional tax amount, then you are after amnesty order, then such amount to be paid. As we discussed in the past slides also this, during the department appeal, if any amount got enhanced, then you are eligible under the scheme by paying the tax amount. So this is what the procedure we need to follow in order to benefit under this scheme. So hope I have covered all the clarification what the department has given, the circular 238. So we'll see, we'll take up the questions at the end. Ma'am, would you like to add anything here, ma'am?
In this, if you will notice what he discusses, first we need to understand the period covered. Period covered is July 17 to March 20. But when we see 16.5 or 16.6, it is covered till 21. So over there is one extra year. In amnesty scheme, it is 3 year. In 16.5 and 16.6 is a 4 year. This both are not a comparable provision, but I am just saying that when you apply, you keep all this thing in mind. Then this scheme is applicable only when it is covered under 73. When it comes to 16.5 or 16.6, 73 or 74, both cases are covered. In this amnesty scheme, when we say about section 73, over here, it is covered under 73 from the stage of issuance of notice. So scheme will come after the notice has been issued. Prior to this, there cannot be. And it cannot be because if you will notice, the first thing which we started with was a discussion on time limit for issuance of show cause notice and order. And as we are standing in October 24, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20 under 73 has been over. To issue the notice, to issue the order, process has been over. Now it is 2021 which is going on. So obviously it will be either as a notice level or it may be order. Even it cannot be at a notice level because order has been passed. So adjudication order. Now, when we say order, it not only covered the adjudication order, it also covered appeal order, revisional order also. Means where the department has taken this order to review whether it has been passed, keeping in mind the legality. Now, revisional order is dealt by 108. So over there, department has been given a power based on revisional order of the commissioner. Department can go for appeal that this order has not been passed. Mostly it's happened in the case where order has been passed in favor of the SSC or where multiple issues are there, measure has been passed. On those cases, revision happened. Now, like he said, it also covered the cases which has been from 74 converted into 73 and separate timelines run for those cases. This is where scheme is applicable. I'm comparing with 16.5 and 6 also for better clarity. Now, if you will notice over here, it is only after SCN, but 16.5, 16.6 benefit as it has been retrospectively introduced, it is also applicable even pre-notice stage, means even where it is in the investigation level or audit level, whichever stage it is, before the issuance of notice also, it is covered. Now, where this amnesty scheme is not applicable. This scheme is not applicable in case of earnest refund. In case it is outside the period, notice covered the period outside it, or in case of interest on delay filing of return, which we discussed. On those cases, this scheme will not be applicable. Now, you may ask me, there may be a case where the consolidated notice has come for 4 year or 5 year, as the case may be, under 73, suppose. How we should go about it. Now, I will not go into the dispute that consolidated issuance of notice has been held to be invalid by various High Court. Even the Karnataka High Court has held that single notice cannot be issued for multiple years. So separate notice for each year need to be issued. Not going into that dispute, suppose one notice has been issued where it covered the period outside, which I discussed in my example, where it was including 2021. If that is the scenario, you have to keep in mind when you are applying for a scheme, it will be for a notice altogether. Even though it is covering a period beyond the scheme, but you have to apply for all the period together. But how the officer will deal? Now there is a difference. Now they are saying in case of multiple year involving a period which is outside the scheme, For period outside the scheme, while determining the benefit available under this scheme, officer will disregard that year and will not allow you the benefit for that year. So he will issue the order where he will give you a benefit of waiver of interest and penalty for the period 1718 to 1920. But while issuing that order, he will mention you are liable to pay interest and penalty for the financial year 2021. Now, next question you can ask me whether against that order, which is now outside that period, can I go for appeal? Answer is no. If you are opting for this scheme, even though period is outside the scheme, in order to avail the benefit for the period covered under the scheme, you have to pay the full tax, interest for 2021 and penalty for 2021. If you don't pay, then the period which is covered under this scheme will not be eligible for waiver and the order issued by the officer will become void. So even though period is outside, they said you have to make the full payment. I will not treat it separate period or not treat it as a separate case. For me, if it is a single notice clubbing multiple year, you have to pay for that year which is outside full amount of tax, interest and penalty as determined by officer to be payable. And that you have to need to do within 3 months. If you doesn't pay within 3 months, immediately that order will become void. And even for the period covered under the scheme, you will be liable to pay interest and penalty, no benefit. Now, we understood what's the period cover, when scheme applicable and when scheme not applicable. Now there come a scenario, even like INS refund and all, even that issue is covered and it is within the period, you have to make the payment within 3 months of the passing of the order determining the tax payable. If you don't pay, you won't be eligible for this scheme. Now with this scheme also come with the conditions. They say you have to make sure you make full amount of tax payable before 31st March 2025. So you have to make the full amount which is determined as per notice and order. Then only you can apply for the scheme. So you have to pay it. Now, another condition is about the fact of 3 months. I said you have to make the payment in order to be that scheme doesn't go void. It is a post facto condition, but it's also a condition. Now, Jagdish also discussed about the fact where department may have went into an appeal and based on the department appeal, order might have got enhanced. So if order got enhanced and at the time when you applied, you have paid what is payable, but after the appeal of the department, order got enhanced, they are giving us an extended time of 3 months to pay that additional liability based on the redetermined order. So you have to make sure you pay that additional liability if department went for appeal and determined. Now, when I am saying department appeal, I am not talking about appeal against this scheme. Under this scheme, department can't go for appeal. Once department has issued me a closing conclusion of proceeding order, they can't go appeal against that order. I'm talking about the original order or appeal order against which I have applied for scheme. Against that, obviously, department also have the option to file the appeal. So if they went and any changes happened in order, based on that changes in this scheme also, it need to be taken care. Now, another point is, it may be a case if it is at an order level, I might have filed an appeal or I might have filed a writ petition or SLP, special leave petition, based on like appeal authority or High Court, Supreme Court. It may be a case that I might have filed those things. Now this scheme has come. So they are saying, even though you have filed an appeal, if you file an withdrawal application saying that I am withdrawing my application, appeal, and you get the withdrawal order, I have to apply the scheme with that withdrawal order showing that I have withdrawn the appeal and I am going for the amnesty scheme. Otherwise, this benefit will not be available. Means I can't keep both the benefit with me, that I will apply for amnesty also, I will apply for order also, whichever comes in, sorry, appeal also, whichever comes in favor, I will go. This is not way. You have to choose one way and accordingly you have to move. So I have to submit my withdrawal application if at the time of making application under scheme, I didn't got withdrawal order. If I have got withdrawal order, then I have to submit my withdrawal order with this application. The moment after my application, if I got the withdrawal order, then I have to submit my withdrawal order within 1 month. Now, this is the benefit. What he said is only and only for interest and penalty. Late fee, redemption fine, those will not be applicable, and tax though you have to pay 100%. While doing the scheme application, you have to attach the payment details and you have to attach withdrawal order or withdrawal application if it is against the order and you have filed an appeal. With this documents and with this condition, it's also important to understand what can be regarded as a payment and how can the payment be made. So if you will see, under this scheme, they have said, I can make the payment through cash and through credit both. So there is no restriction. Unlike, means they didn't said me that you have to pay in cash in order to be eligible for the scheme. So I can make in cash and even credit. But they said there is one exception. What? Not one, two exception. What? That is, one is RC. As you know, for RCM, even in 3B, I have to pay through cash. Here also they are saying you have to pay through cash. Second, earliest refund. They are saying, because when we file refund claim, we get in cash. So how you can do it reversal through credit? So you pay in cash. So for refund and RCM, they are saying you have to pay through cash. Otherwise, for other issue, I can use my cash and credit ledger with respect to tax payment. It to be noted, cash and credit can be used for tax, not for interest and penalty or late fee. Okay. So tax payment I can do through cash or credit ledger. Now, the second point which comes is how I should make the payment. I can make the payment through DRC03 or through electronic liability ledger. Now they are saying if my notice, if I'm filing my SPL 01, which is pending at a notice level, because at notice only SPL 01 need to be filed. In case if it is against a notice, I'm doing an application, I need to do through DRC 03. But if it is against an order, then I need to do through electronic liability ledger. If you will notice, whenever an order is uploaded on a GST portal, if you go to electronic liability ledger, you will immediately see based on order, demand has been created. So they are saying you make the payment under this scheme for the orders with electronic liability ledger. But there can be a scenario that I might have made the payment through DRC03. For that also, they have clarified what they are saying. Suppose if you have made the payment through DRC03, then execute DRC03A. This is a new form, still not operational, will be getting operational, even though the scheme which we are discussing is also not operational on GST portal. They are working on it more. That will functionality will also be available. So they are saying DRC03A to be executed. So based on DRC03A, I will link my DRC03 payment to electronic liability ledger towards the demand payable. This is similar to what they have been prescribed for pre-deposit. For pre-deposit also, they have specified the similar, because as we know, appellate tribunal was not formed, but recovery proceeding were initiated. So people were making pre-deposit through DRC03. So same procedure they have prescribed there, which they are using over here also, that you need to adjust with DRC03A. Means you have to show that setting off with DRC03A. Now, the second question, third question which comes into mind is, which are the payment which will be considered that it has been made toward the demand. They are saying irrespective of the fact when you have paid, at what stage doesn't matter, but it should be a payment made before 31st March 2025. So if it is a payment made before 31st March 2025, all the payment which is made toward that demand, whenever it is made, would form part of payment under this scheme. Then there can be also a scenario where instead of me making the payment, they would have recovered from the third party. DRC 13 and all they were issuing, where recovery officer has authorized to collect the tax payment from my customer for whom payment is due. If suppose they have made such collection from other person, then those collection also they are saying will be considered as a payment under this scheme. Now it need to be see how that will operate, because as of now there is no form and there is no pattern to adjust that. For DRC 03, they are saying how I can adjust. But for this other recovery, they have not specified how we can adjust. That need to be checked. Now the fourth part you can ask, now this is waiver for interest and penalty. There may be a case because who knows when the scheme will come and with what are the conditions scheme will be coming. So some people, by seeing the cost of litigation, management decision, they might have decided to pay the tax, interest and penalty all. So what we should do? And it may be a case there is one notice out of which containing 10 issue, 3 issue I might have paid, for 7 issue I might have went for appeal. And now based on this scheme, I want to opt for scheme and close it off. So the 3 issue which I have paid, I might have paid with tax, interest and penalty. So as a prudent taxpayer, I will think, can I adjust that interest and penalty which I have paid against this 3 issue with 7 issue tax payable? They said that is not allowed. You can't do such adjustment. Once the payment is made, no refund, no adjustment. So you can't adjust it. And in a scenario where on the whole amount, whole issues, you have paid the tax, interest and penalty, you can't claim refund of interest and penalty. But as I said, you have to see how you have made the payment. Accordingly, you can decide how you want to move ahead. So with this, I will also like you to take you the forms once again, because these procedures are important and you should always know against whom you have to apply. Stephen, can you mute others?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
So we discuss about application, which he took us to SPL 01 and 02. There are 2 specific forms, so you have to check which one is applicable to you. Now, this is a good thing that they have not been given a power to straightforward reject my application. They have been asked to issue notice, which is a plus point. And they have given me also a form in how I have to reply. And for this whole process, they have kept 4 months time limit. So 3 months time limit they have given for issuance of notice and 1 month to reply. And there are specific form. In GST, this is the very good thing they have done, government has done, is for everything they have let down the format, they have let down the time limit, not for the SSE only, but also for the department to close the proceedings. Now, reply to notice 1 month. Now, after this, 2 things can happen. Either my application be rejected or my application can be accepted. Now even for acceptance and rejection, they have given 2 forms. If they are accepting, they have to issue in 05. If they are rejecting, they have to issue in 07. In this also, they have covered scenarios where notice is not issued or reply. So what I mean to say is, they are giving a time limit to pass the order. They are saying 4 months is the time limit to pass the order from date of application, if I say in simple word, because they are considering this 3 months and 1 month. So they are saying 4 months is a time limit to pass the order. Order may be sanctioned or to reject. If I say, a simple term, because they are mentioning where notice is issued, then I have to pass the order within 3 months in case of reply is furnished. If reply is not furnished, then 4 months, that is 3 plus 1. And where no notice is issued, if he doesn't have any objection, department has no issue, then obviously he has to issue within 3 months. 1 month time limit for reply will get removed because no notice is there. Now, another important thing which they have bring out, which they have also covered in show cause notices under 73 and 74 of deemed conclusion of proceeding. Same thing they have borrowed is a good thing, that they are saying if officer does anything within the time limit prescribed, it will be assumed deemed approved. So that's also a good thing. We don't need to run around the department to get our things done. Then after, now one more thing is about the proper officer is person who will be assigned these cases. We should know, because if any issue arise, we can talk to them and sort it out. Is for notice, they are saying adjudicating officer, means the person who was required to issue order, that person will be the person who will require to do this case. See the benefit under this scheme. In case of order, they are saying it will be recovery officer, 79. So it has been passed to recovery officer to check. Now, let's see how the recovery officer will work, because recovery officer's duties to collect the tax based on order, not to give the benefit, but maybe there may be internal session for them, how they have to proceed with it. Now, where the sanction order is issued, obviously it is okay, everything in my favor, nothing is to be done. But if my application got rejected, what should I do? If my application get rejected, unlike, if you are aware, under service tax also there was Sabka Vishwas scheme. And after my scheme application was rejected, there was no option to explain and to show that that officer has done some error and I am duly eligible. But in this, they have given that benefit. They are saying I can go and appeal against that rejection order, which is one good point. Multiple good points are there in this scheme which they have flirted, but there are also lacuna where people are going to suffer, that how it going to be addressed. Then they are saying I can go for appeal. So if SPL 07 is issued rejection order, I can go for appeal. Now for appeal, they have not prescribed any form in this, means in this procedure. They are saying go through GST law route, that is 107. This is also GST law, but I'm saying no separate procedure. They are merging with appeal procedure in the GST 107. So they are saying you go and file APL 01. After filing of APL 01, obviously appellate authority will determine whether I am eligible for benefit of the scheme or not, and he will pass an order in SPL 06. If he sanction, if he reject, again 7. So he will pass an order if I am eligible for the scheme. So he will pass under SPL 06. Now, what would happen if he reject? If he reject, as of now, there is no second appeal mechanism. And even in the clarification is not there. But as they have covered first appeal, then I am also of the view that second appeal is also allowed under the scheme. We can also go for tribunal appeal. But now coming to the part which has been clarified. Now, if sanction is okay, based on whatever order has been passed, I will pay that any remaining tax payable interest or penalty and will close the proceeding. So if it is passed against, now my appeal can be allowed also and my appeal can be rejected also. If it is rejected, then what should I do? Now, if my appeal filed is allowed, an order will be passed in my favor. If my appeal file is rejected, then they are saying my original appeal will restore. Because as I am not eligible for this benefit, I will be routed to my normal course. So my original appeal will get restored. So the withdrawal application which I have filed will no more be applicable and my original appeal will be restored. Provided, in this they are providing that I have to give one more undertaking saying that I will not file appeal against the rejected order. I have to write now because I will keep fighting over there also and here also it's not allowed. So I have to say I am now not exercising the benefit under this scheme and I am going into my normal course. So they have given one form SPL 08 which I need to file showing that I will now not go into scheme. I am going into normal original appeal restore. Now where I have not filed any appeal, it can be a case where I have not filed or time limit to file an appeal. Time limits and all will operate based on 107. That is 3 months. So if I have not filed an appeal, 3 months plus 1 month with condonation of delay. So if I have not filed an appeal or time period to file an appeal left, then also my original appeal will restore and I have to give an undertaking that I am not going to file an appeal against the amnesty rejection order. Okay, over here we are talking about from amnesty point of view, and this whole process is from amnesty point of view. So this were the points which I want to highlight, though Jagdish has already covered, but I want to once again bring to your point because see, if we move with the procedure, justice is itself taken care. Okay, if we follow the law the way it is prescribed, justice will be taken care because it's not only for me, but it's also for department to follow. So that need to be kept in mind. Now, with this, we came to the end of our amnesty scheme. Now, I know that in our today session, we have mentioned multiple things. So now we will do quickly in the sake of time so that we can take questions more. So we'll run quickly to the RCM and various changes which has been made. In RCM, I want to highlight that 2 new things, one metal scrap and commercial renting of commercial property has been included under RCM. So from now onwards, you need to be careful if you are dealing in those product that you take care of this RCM applicability. And with this RCM applicability, we will be discussing TDS also. So first part is metal scrap. So if you will see in metal scrap, they have said RCM is applicable, but it's not all the purchase of metal scrap is under RCM. It is only when unregistered supplier supply to a registered buyer, RCM is applicable. So at that time only, RCM is applicable. So that time you have to pay under RCM. In any other case, see, if my registered supplier is supplying, obviously he will be charging under forward charge. So there cannot be any RCM. Means because this provision has been introduced under 9(4), which deals with the supply from unregistered person. So over here, they are imposing tax from the unregistered inwards. So from unregistered to registered buyer under RCM. If it is from registered, it is under FCM, no RCM. And if it is unregistered to unregistered buyer and supplier, obviously there cannot be any tax because I'm assuming they are below the limit, below 20. Sorry, it's a product below 40. Okay. And the second thing you need to keep in mind for this RCM part in metal scrap is introduction of TDS. They have introduced the TDS applicability. They are saying when registered supplier supply to registered buyer, then TDS need to be applied. 2% is the GST rate, 1% CGST, 1% SGST. These are the metal scrap items from 72 to 81. They are saying to be covered under RCM. Now 1%, 2% TDS, as I said, on what value? On taxable value, they have to deduct TDS. When they have to deduct? When the value exceeds 2.5 lakh, but it will not be applicable where the place of supply is different from place of recipient registration. Another thing you need to keep in mind, whoever TDS is applicable, they have to get a separate registration. So you have to file a separate form also, GSTR 7 and TDS certificate to be issued. In this, one more point, if my whole supply is covered under RCM. What? If my whole supply is covered under RCM, then I am also exempted for GST registration. That's a good thing they have given, that I don't require to take GST registration if the metal scrap which I am supplying is fully covered under reverse charge. Hitesh, over.
Renting important.
Particular
Kilo. Other metal scrap.
Hello. Yeah. With regard to renting of immovable property. Renting of immovable property, there has been another introduction of RCM in this sector as well. So, renting of immovable property. Earlier, renting of residential property, if the supplier of the services would have been unregistered, then it was brought under the purview of RCM. But recently, renting of commercial property, if the supplier of such service, if the owner of such commercial property is unregistered, then and the service recipient is a taxable person, then the service recipient now becomes liable to pay taxes under renting of such commercial property under the reverse charge basis. This has been notified with effect from 10th October 2024. To understand more in detail, we should observe this chart whereby we have categorized the supply of services into 4 parts. The first one being a supply of residential dwelling, renting of residential dwelling, where the supplier of service is any person, be it either registered or unregistered. Recipient of service is any registered person. Then RCM was applicable on such services with effect from 18th July 2022. Prior to that, it was also exempt, but with effect from 18th July 2022, this came under the purview of RCM, whereby you actually provide renting of residential dwelling to any registered person, then reverse charge becomes applicable. The second category of services also belong to residential dwelling. It can also be provided either by any registered or unregistered person, but the recipient of service is a registered person. Till date, it is an exempt supply. GST is not applicable on such supply. Which supply? Supply of services through renting of residential dwelling to any unregistered service recipient. Now comes commercial property letting out. If any person who is registered is letting out any commercial property to either any registered person or to any unregistered person, the status of service recipient is not important in this case. Commercial property let out by a registered person, irrespective of the fact whether the service recipient is registered or unregistered, it was covered under forward charge from day one since the inception of GST. But renting of commercial property from any unregistered person to a registered recipient was not covered prior to 10th October 2024. This is the most latest and the recent amendment whereby service recipient will be liable to pay taxes under reverse charge on availing services of commercial property letting out. Thank you.
There are certain rate changes and clarification. For the sake of time, because we have another session also. In this, you can go through it. if you have any query in relation to whatever we have discussed in today's session, you can drop an email to us. And in this, I will just cover two small things. One, Stephen, can you mute all once? We'll take the question. Just give us 2 minutes. Okay.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. In this, I will just cover about scope of as is or where is basis. We have known multiple circulars have been issued where the government has tried to regularize the past transaction or past issue. So over here, the two things is there is obviously a question, what is as is, where is basis? So while defining what is as is, where is basis, they have given an illustration. And based on that illustration, what the opinion I have formed, I have written over here. If you see rate issue, if there was a rate issue, means interpretation of rate, classification under which HSN code at what rate it will be, then they have said if a person has paid under a lower rate, then they will not demand differential tax. If a person has paid as a higher tax rate, then they will not allow the refund. But if the person has not paid the tax rate was applicable, but he chooses not to pay, then they were saying, I will collect the tax based on the rate I am saying which is applicable. When I'm clarifying today that it is applicable at the rate of 5 or 12, whatever may be the rate, which rate I'm saying applicable, if you haven't paid, I will collect it. But if there is a case where person has paid lower or higher rate, then they are saying no refund or differential tax not payable. So person who has paid wrong tax, no issue, but who hasn't paid, they will collect. Now, another thing is about taxability issue, where there is a case where exemption is in question, whether exempted or not. Over there, they are saying that also they have regularized. If they have said exempted, then okay. If they have said exempted and somebody has paid the taxes, no refund. If they have said taxable and some person has considered it to be exempted, they are saying, I will not collect any amount from you. As of now, I'm regularizing, but now onwards, start paying. So this small part I just want to cover in this. Balance, everything, whatever has come in the October is there. So we will quickly now move on to question and answer. If anybody have any query, if they feel it's not been addressed, they have certain more issues, they can write down to us. We will reply to it. Now, moving on to question and answer, which we will take quickly over here. So the few questions which I am having is, one is, okay, Hitesh, to you. I receive a notice for 1718, file 3B written in May 20. Hitesh, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I receive a notice for 1718, file 3B written in May 20.
Just I wanted to brief, madam.
Sure.
2017-18 was filed in May 2020. Then we received a notice because you filed delay in submission. So they were not given a input credit on all everything they've charged. You have to pay. They are asking to pay this one. Now we can go for the amnesty scheme.
Sir, it's not amnesty scheme. Your is 16.5, 16.6 case.
Okay.
Okay, sir. So if now it is at which stage? Notice level or order level?
Notice level is over. We have went for appeal also.
Achha, you went for an appeal. So now
Yes.
it is pending before an appellate authority, first appeal.
Correct.
Am I
Correct.
correct?
Correct. ma'am.
Now, before that appellate authority will decide your case. So just show him 16.5 and 16.6 case so that
Okay.
this retrospective amendment has come. He will
Okay.
only consider and allow you the benefit.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
before that officer, you just need to introduce. Because if you will notice, when we were discussing the procedure which is there in 16.5 and 16.6 of rectification is applicable where SSC is not doing anything. Over here,
Oh,
you have done your compliances. So where compliances is done, where you have taken the action needed to be taken, then it
Oh.
will be decided by the officer against whom the case is pending. I
Okay.
hope this addresses your issue.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Now the second, yes, sir, go ahead.
Now, my was their question like in scrap, 2.5 lakhs is
Okay.
the limit per
Yes, sir.
or per case.
It's a contract value, they are saying.
Contract value, because now you'll not be a
So
every month wise you'll be selling of the scrap.
So sir, in totality, so it will exceed only, na sir.
Okay. Okay.
So for you, it is applicable, sir.
More than 2.5 lakhs, we have to deduct TDS at 2%.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, with regard to the next question, which has been put over by Dhanya S, she asks that returns for 17-18 and 18-19 filed during July to September 19, 16-4 order passed year-wise and appeal is filed. Can we avail any benefit of tax? With regard to this, I would like to clarify that since you have passed the appeal, since you have filed the appeal and the appellate order is pending, therefore, as per the clarification issued by CBIC, the cognizance of the matter needs to be taken by the appellate authority. No action needs to be taken at your end at this stage. If the appellate authority doesn't pass the order in your favor, then you can definitely go for waiver application whereby you can reduce the amount of tax demanded through by virtue of 16.5 and 16.6 which are eligible.
So Dhanya, basically, when the PH will be scheduled, show this 16.5 and 16.6 new section introduction and take that circular 238, which not 238, 237, which we have discussed. You can take that and show it to the officer. Obviously, this whole provision 16.5.6, even to the department, multiple representation is going on, and they would be also issue an internal instruction. You just need to brought about the fact that your case is covered under 16.5 and 16.6. That fact you need to put on record. Jagdish, you are there?
Yes, sir.
So next question is for you. SCN issue for interest on delay payment or filing of return for 17-18 under 74. Can we file appeal for rectification to 73 and apply for this scheme?
So for delayed filing of the return, you cannot opt for this scheme. And one more thing, the order is under section 74, right? So in both the cases, you cannot opt for this scheme.
But she's saying we'll go for appeal and get it converted to 73.
But he's saying that for delayed filing of return, he's saying for that late fee will be there and interest will be there. So on that, they cannot go out for this scheme.
Yeah, I hope it is clear. Jagdish is saying, even though you converted into non-fraud case, but this is a specific exclusion in the circular. If your notice consists of only this issue, if it is the only issue in that, then he's saying, even though you get it under 73, you won't be eligible, being a specific exclusion in the scheme by way of clarification. Then, Jagdish, to you only. In financial year 2021, if there are any point to go to appeal, how does it work?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
In financial year 2021, if there are any point to go for appeal, how does it work?
How does it work?
I think so. They are talking about multiple year.
Multiple.
Where maybe financial year 2021 is also there, and they want to go for appeal for 2021.
Okay. In that case, they have
1 minute, Jagdish. Pradeep ji, you can clarify.
Yeah.
You can unmute and say
Yes,
your if we understood your question correctly.
Yes, sir, Pradeep sir.
So the notice is for the 4 years.
Okay, sir.
In the financial 2021, even in 18, 19, 19, 20, there are some points which the SSC wants to go for appeal.
Okay.
And along with that 2021 also, there are points which they have to go for appeal.
Okay,
If
sir. Okay.
that is the case, can he go for amnesty scheme or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can go for amnesty scheme by paying the tax for the first 3 years.
Okay.
And if the amnesty order got accepted,
Okay.
and within 3 months from that amnesty order, you need to pay the tax for the 2021 also. If you have not paid within the 3 months, the amnesty order which you got in favor of you will got void.
So like if we go for an appeal, we have to pay the taxes and we have to go, right?
Even then also, sir.
Okay.
It's
Irrespective of
trying to
that,
say you can't break. If single
Yes.
notice is issued for multiple year, you can't break it as per your wish. For few, you will go for appeal, and for few, you will go for scheme. That is not possible. Even though a year 2021 is outside the scheme, but in order to be eligible for the scheme, for that 3 year, you need to pay the full tax, interest, and penalty of 2021.
So like even if you see the date of order, like
Okay.
3 months is about to expire, maybe in the next month. Are there any
Okay.
extensions for that?
You are saying 74 case then.
74,
Order is
73,
still
it is 73.
pending.
73, it's still 73.
70, okay. So, but for 73, there will be single notice. Now, why you are saying
No.
2021?
No, 73 we got for 4 years.
Together.
Oh,
Yes, together.
So
Merging
on-
2021 on today date.
Yes.
The first 3 years is already time barred. That is what the first slide Hitesh covered. Time limit already got lapsed. How is possible you are getting under 73? Sir, it will be 74. Please check the section properly.
when you can fight against that orders, they cannot issue a single order for multiple years.
Maybe the Jagadish scenario may be applicable because it is under 73 itself.
You are saying 73 merge notice. Okay,
Yes.
even that itself first 3 years is time, but why you will pay tax, sir? Why I will go for scheme? I will go for appeal only.
Okay.
Because
And one
first 3 year based on time, but I will get it withdraw.
okay.
Tax also I will not pay. In a scheme, I have to pay the tax.
Okay.
But I'm doubting what you are saying because now officers are also well trained. They will not do this type of error.
Yes.
And one more thing, like if the assessee choose for appeal, and will they consider this amnesty?
Yeah, definitely. I think 16 subsection 5 has been retrospectively inserted, and in case your case falls under 16 subsection 5, it is better to, and if you want to go for appeal, you can file the appeal, and once you file the appeal, the status of the proceedings turns to pending at the department's end. And as clarified in the circular, that you can definitely go for means the department has to consider, the appellate authority has to take the cognizance of the matter. But again, being very specific, suppose for the year, if you have specifically asked for 2021, if in 2021 the matter is only pertaining to your 16.4 contravention, then and it is a single notice, then I think if you have not filed the appeal yet, the ball is in your court. You can go and you can proceed to file the rectification application. That would be a better option. But in case your matter consists of multiple years in a single notice and 2021 matters pertain to this one 16.4 contravention, then the better option would be to go for the appeal rather than going for the amnesty scheme, because even if you go for the amnesty scheme, although there will be lots of ifs and buts, but in appeal the scope becomes very broad.
Okay, thank you.
With this, we came to the end of our first session. Now we'll move to taxation. Over to you, Shilpavati.
End out clear. Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, regarding TDS, some I have a doubt. In
Okay.
which calculation you have to deduct the TDS, ma'am?
In which?
TDS 2% has to be deducted. You are told no for metal
Yes, sir.
scrap in RPM.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
applicable
sir.
for all the thing. For financial year, 250,000 is the limit.
No.
It's not like a financial year based on what the contract value you are having. Basically, the payment, if you are making to your supplier more than 250, then you have to deduct TDS. And I will suggest on every transaction you deduct TDS.
Yes, I am asking that only because we are selling as silver articles. They will give the old silver. In that chapter 8, the RCM is applicable. For 500 also, we have to deduct 2%. I am asking, ma'am.
1 minute, sir. Don't merge RCM and TDS together. RCM is applicable when you have received from unregistered person. And when you are paying under RCM, TDS is not applicable.
Okay.
1. TDS is applicable when it is under forward charge, where both the parties are registered. My supplier is registered, my recipient is registered. Means if you are an SSC and you are procuring, you should be procuring from a registered person.
Yes.
If you are procuring from a registered person, RCM is not there.
Okay.
RCM is there when you are procuring from unregistered person. And TDS is there if you are procuring from a registered and I am also registered, then TDS applicable.
Okay. For metal, for what do you mean? Metal
Correct.
scrap.
Metal scrap.
Not
Yes,
all
correct.
metals. So I would like to add one thing here. It's saying the silver scrap, but silver scrap is not covered between 72 and 81 chapter. So in that case, you no need to deduct any TDS.
Ours is chapter 73, sir.
73, then iron or steel?
I say, what do you mean, sir? Iron and steel, no. What do you mean, 73?
Okay. You can
73 and
contact
74 is coming, sir. Silver article.
74
Gold
in
and silver
copper.
article.
Okay. Gold and silver will not be covered on the 72 to 81. So anyway, you can contact us. If you need any assistance, surely we can help you.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll start with our second session. Shilpavati.
Hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, Shilpa.
Yes.
Hi everyone. Today I'm going to session on new feature in Tally 5.0. First topic is how to create party details using GST number from government portal. What is the use of this feature means? For example, if you have client GSTN, you want to raise the invoice. So if you want to raise the invoice means you want party address, PIN code, state, contact details, everything. For that, you need to communicate with client. So in some cases, if they are busy, so if you have client GSTN, then you can easily create the party details from the government portal. First, I will show you how to create single party using single GSTN. Go to create, ledger, then right side, you will get the option like fetch details using GSTN. Just click on that, provide the GSTN here. Then press enter. Then from fraction second, you will get the all details, whatever you want, like party address, PIN code, PAN, state, registration type, everything. Within fraction second, you can get the details to tally. From portal, just press Ctrl A. Then one more time you have to press Ctrl A. Then if you come to alter, earlier in ledger, there is no Sri Trimurti Electronics. Now, by using GST number, we have created Sri Trimurti Electronics. Then, if you want to create like n number of party details, like 100,000 like that, we have one more option. Just go to display statutory reports, GST reports, then GST utilities. Here, last option is a create party using GSTN number. Just press it. Here you can give like one by one. It will take more time. like something 29 first GSTN, like that. So instead of giving, you have GSTN in Excel sheet, then you can import directly. Create party GSTN. Right side, you will get the import GSTN from Excel. Just click on that. Then here you have to mention the Excel path from the File Explorer. Then select the file name. Then select the sheet. Which sheet it is. Here I am using the sheet 3. Then which column you want. First, all GSTN import from Excel to here. Then press the Control A. Then it will show the importing option from directly government portal, only using GSTN number. Here you will get the all details, whatever you have given. Only you will give the input as a GSTN number. Then you can easily get the all details. Here you can change the, like for example, all these party comes under datars, means you can select here manually one more time. Datars or creditors you can, or else you can, no need means you can select it all items. Just do the Control A. If you create any party earlier, means exists, that respective party already is there, means it won't create. It will show the message like name already exists. So you do the escape. Then if you come to the gateway tally, alter, ledger, earlier only one party was there, Sri Trimurti Electronics. Now we have imported like 7-8 parties. This is the feature. One more feature, second feature is validate GSTN. Validate GSTN is nothing but for example, some reasons, some party GSTN will be cancelled, like suspended. So if before making any invoice, you need to cross verify that that GSTN suspended or cancelled or it is in active mode. For that, just go to display, statutory reports, GST reports, then GST utilities. Here, second option is the validate party GSTN. Just press it. Here you can select the data or creditors you can. Here I will select the all items. So here I have 6 parties. I don't know this is who knows, like maybe out of these parties anyone cancelled. We don't know. For that, just select the all line item. Then click on fetch details using GSTN. Means you will get the after country, one additional column will get like this respective party active or not, like that. See here, after country, here it will show the active. If it is cancel means cancel, it will show. If it is surrender means suspended, it will show. These are the 2 options. We will not get the up to 4.0, 4.1. In 5.0, they have developed. Hello, any question regarding this? Shall I wind up session?
Okay. So this was it, Shilpa?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So with this, we have come to the end of today's session. I hope both GST and technical prove to be knowledgeable for you and help you as a value addition. So if anybody have any query, any issue, they can write down to us. Email ID I have shared in the chat. Or this PPT and the video link will be available to the person. Stephen will be sharing those details over emails to you all. Thank you all.